Mississippi, one of the 50 states of the United States, is a region steeped in a deep and complex history, especially when it comes to social, racial, and economic issues. After the American Civil War, which led to the collapse of the slave-based economy, Mississippi faced long-standing poverty that drastically affected its development. Many residents were forced to leave the state in search of better opportunities due to the economic downturn, a trend that continues to echo through its history. Today, Mississippi remains one of the poorest states in the U.S. Many of its citizens live in mobile homes, with a standard of living that falls well below the national average. The struggles of its people are evident in their daily lives, with economic hardship serving as a backdrop to the social challenges they face. In this video, we're going to explore the hidden realities behind Mississippi's dark past and present, uncovering the truths that often remain unseen. One cannot overlook the connection between economic well-being and violent crime within a society. In Mississippi, being one of the poorest states means that a large portion of its residents experience economic insecurity, and this directly impacts the levels of crime. Poverty, combined with systemic issues, creates an environment where violence can take root. As a result, Mississippi, often referred to as the Magnolia State, has become a hotspot for violent crime in the United States. One of the stark realities is Mississippi's extraordinarily high incarceration rate. The numbers tell a grim story. With 661 inmates per 100,000 people, the state far exceeds the national average of 311 inmates per 100,000. This means that Mississippi's incarceration rate is more than double that of the national level, underscoring how deep the societal issues run. But it doesn't stop at incarceration. The state also suffers from alarming levels of gun violence. In 2024, Mississippi was reported to have the highest rate of gun-related deaths in the country, with an astonishing 29.7 incidents per 100,000 people. These figures paint a disturbing picture of a place where violence is intertwined with everyday life. When discussing crime in Mississippi, it's impossible to ignore its capital, Jackson. Known for having one of the highest violent crime rates in the country, Jackson has become infamous for its staggering homicide numbers. In 2021, the city saw a murder rate of 99.5 homicides per 100,000 residents. While this rate slightly decreased in 2022 to 78.8 per 100,000, the figures remain shockingly high. It's a sobering reminder of the extreme levels of violence that plague the state. Earlier, we discussed the alarming rates of violence and gun-related deaths in Mississippi. Now, let's take a closer look at the pressing issue of poverty that grips this state. Mississippi doesn't just rank highest in gun-related fatalities, it also holds the unfortunate title of being the poorest state in the United States. This stark reality is reflected in Mississippi's consistently weak economic standing. As of 2023, the state was at the bottom of the list when it came to economic performance, with the weakest economy of all 50 states. In 2023, an estimated 18.7% of Mississippi's population lived below the poverty line, meaning roughly 1 in 5 residents struggled with basic financial stability. This percentage is significantly higher than the national poverty rate, which stood at 11.7%. The wide gap between Mississippi and the national average highlights the severity of the economic struggles many in the state face on a daily basis. But poverty in Mississippi isn't just about income. It ripples across various aspects of life, deeply affecting the quality of living for many. One particularly telling indicator is food insecurity. In 2022, the state reported a food insecurity rate of 15.3%, marking it as the state with the highest hunger rate in the entire country. This means a significant portion of the population regularly faced uncertainty over where their next meal would come from, painting a grim picture of everyday hardship. To make matters worse, Mississippi's job market offers little hope for a rapid economic turnaround. In 2023, job growth in the state was recorded at just 1.3%, significantly below the national average of 2.7%. This sluggish job creation not only limits employment opportunities, but also stifles economic mobility, leaving many trapped in cycles of poverty with few avenues for improvement. In addition to the alarming rates of violence and widespread food insecurity, Mississippi faces another daunting challenge: natural disasters. The state's vulnerability to severe weather events makes it a risky place for anyone considering settling there. Mississippi is particularly prone to tornadoes, and 2023 was a notable year, with the state experiencing a staggering 81 tornado incidents. This high frequency places Mississippi among the top 5 states in the U.S. for tornado activity. The increased risk of tornado damage has significant financial implications for residents, as they are often required to pay higher than average home insurance premiums to protect against the potential devastation. Tornadoes, however, are just one of the many natural threats that Mississippi faces. Flooding is another recurring danger that impacts the state, posing a serious risk to both safety and infrastructure. One of the most infamous examples of this occurred during the Great Flood of 1993, a disaster that left a lasting mark on the region. The flood was the result of a perfect storm of natural conditions. Heavy snowfall during the winter of 1992 to 93, followed by an unusually wet spring and early summer, caused the Mississippi River to swell to record-breaking levels. To make matters worse, rainfall in the northern Midwest was 400% to 750% above the average monthly levels during early to mid-1993, further straining the river system. As a result, the river breached its banks, submerging an area of approximately 30,000 square miles. The consequences were catastrophic. 50 people lost their lives, and 62,000 families were forced to evacuate their homes. This disaster highlighted just how devastating natural forces can be in Mississippi and how unprepared many communities are to withstand such events. What about the quality of education in Mississippi? Is the state known for a strong educational system? Unfortunately, the answer is a resounding no. Mississippi's education system struggles significantly when compared to the rest of the country. In terms of K-12 education, the state ranks 38th out of the 50 U.S. states, placing it in the bottom 15 for primary and secondary education. This ranking reflects the need for substantial improvements in the state's educational framework. One of the most troubling aspects of Mississippi's education system is its low academic performance in foundational subjects like reading and math. In 2022, only 31% of fourth-grade students met or exceeded the national reading proficiency standards. In mathematics, the situation was equally concerning, with just 32% of fourth-graders reaching the expected benchmarks. These statistics reveal a deep-rooted problem within the education system. As such, fundamental skills are crucial for students' long-term success. Beyond basic education, higher education in Mississippi faces its own set of challenges. According to a report by the Foundation for Research on Equal Opportunity, the high cost of obtaining a college degree in Mississippi often does not translate into higher lifetime earnings. While degrees in fields like engineering or insurance offer stronger earning potential, many other degrees, such as those in performing arts or anthropology, do not provide a significant financial return. This disparity creates a concerning instability within higher education, as students may invest heavily in their education without seeing the corresponding financial benefits. Compounding these issues, Mississippi also has a low college attendance and completion rate. About 6 in 10 high school graduates in the state either do not pursue higher education or fail to complete their degrees. Alarmingly, around 1/3 of those who do attend college end up dropping out. This trend further weakens the state's workforce and limits opportunities for economic growth. Mississippi's economic struggles are not just the result of poverty or slow job growth, they're deeply intertwined with a long-standing history of corruption. In fact, Mississippi is considered one of the most corrupt states in the United States. A study conducted from 1976 to 2008 placed Mississippi at the top of the list for public sector corruption, measured by the number of public officials convicted of corruption-related offenses. This troubling statistic underscores a systemic issue that has significantly hindered the state's ability to address its economic challenges. One of the most notorious corruption scandals in recent years involved the misappropriation of welfare funds. In 2020, under the administration of former Governor Phil Bryant, it was uncovered that over $90 million intended for welfare programs, specifically meant to assist low-income families, had been diverted for personal gain. This scandal shook the state, revealing a misuse of public resources on an enormous scale. What made the situation even more scandalous was the involvement of former NFL star Brett Favre. Favre was linked to efforts to reroute some of these welfare funds to finance the construction of a volleyball stadium at the University of Southern Mississippi, a project far removed from the intended purpose of helping struggling families. As this case unfolded, it was reported that 98% of applicants seeking welfare assistance in the state were denied, highlighting the stark reality that while families in need were being turned away, millions of dollars were being funneled into personal and private projects. This welfare scandal is just one example of the deeply ingrained corruption that plagues Mississippi. Despite its rich cultural heritage and historical significance, the state's progress is continually undermined by corruption at the highest levels. Mississippi consistently ranks in the bottom 5 states in the U.S. across multiple measures, from economic strength to education, healthcare, and public trust.